Good morning to the listeners and viewers of Classic Radio and GBN TV. How's everybody doing this morning? Yes, it's Tuesday, and it's already the 10th day of February 2026. Good morning to those of you via our social media platforms also. Facebook page, YouTube channel. Those of you viewing and listening via, of course, our webpage, that's gbn.gd. Good morning, and welcome to another edition of To The Point. I'm your host, GT. With me this morning, representing the New National Party, as we call the opposition here in Grenada. It's Opposition Tuesday on today's edition of To The Point. We have Mr. Jelani, Glean with us this morning. Mr. Glean, good morning and welcome. Nice to have you back on the program, sir.
Good morning to you.
I think it's the first time for 2026 thus far.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should I say Happy New Year, Happy Independence, everything in one,
Well, it's always good to have good greetings and well wishes. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Good morning to you, your listeners, both at home and in the diaspora. It's always a pleasure to be here with you.
I'm having you today on the program in a sort of different capacity. Yeah. A few months ago, I was talking to you in the capacity as the caretaker for the constituency. Now you has been, of course, confirmed as the candidate for, of course, what has changed? What should constituents expect from you now going forward?
Well, as the caretaker, I was charged with the responsibility of organizing our constituency, ensuring that our messaging from the party reaches our constituents, as well as convincing the constituents that I would make the best representative for the party, especially our supporters within the constituency, as well as the executive of the New National Party, that I would make the best representative for my constituency, St. Patrick West. And I must say, now that I've been confirmed, I must thank, of course, the constituency for their support. I must thank the New National Party executive for their confidence in me. It seems so far that I've done a job that's well enough, right. That would have sufficed confirming me as the candidate. But in going forward, it's just more intensity. It's getting now to convince the rest of the constituency that I will make the best representation for us as a constituency, that I will have the best plan, the best vision to deal with the issues and the challenges that we face together as a constituency, and that New National Party would provide the platform for me to do just that.
All right, great. In becoming the caretaker, of course, the candidate now, I still have that caretaker of mine of thinking of you, but there are always those highs and low points. From coming from the caretaker now to the candidate. What have you learned since the last year, or the last time we have spoken to know? What have you learned? The highs and lows per se.
Well, getting to know our constituency a little bit better, getting to know individuals within the constituency. I've always been one that I'm always engaged in something community-wise. So if there's nothing happening in your area, your neck of the woods, you may not find me in those areas. And so I'm not on a one-on-one basis with every constituent. But so being given this opportunity now and having the opportunity again to engage with persons one-on-one as I go around and house-to-house visits and that type of thing. The highs for me has been, getting to know them a little bit better, getting to understand what the challenges are for them, both on a community level as well as an individual personal basis. There are little things that I myself never thought of or knew. Getting recommendations, suggestions from them as to the way forward, how they envision progress within their environment. That has been the highs for me, because sometimes we like to think up solutions for our people and so forth, and sometimes the solution exists within them, and they have good vision and good ideas and suggestions as to how and when they're involved, you get better buy-in. So it's always easier to execute on vision that way. The lows for me has been witnessing firsthand the impact of what I would consider the type of representation that we have within the constituency, the state of our economy and so on, how that has impacted some of the residents within our constituency. The high cost of living, poor healthcare, poor health services, Even our fishermen, what they face with the fishing ban that's now on, our farmers and so forth, the challenge that they faced, within the constituency. All of that has really been the lows for me. And, I could summarize it in the lack of representation that we currently experience within the constituency. I think that has been the low for me.
You speak of, representation. Let's talk a wee bit in terms of performance. Your review that you would like to give in terms of the current representation that St. Patrick's West is receiving. What is that? What is the bad business you see and needs fixing as you talk about the representation?
Well, I can sum it up in simply saying that we need new representation. It's a matter of that. I think the other issues that we experience within the constituency, some of them have been long-standing, but we select representatives that have a vision and a plan that is going to alleviate some of the challenges. So as we move forward, we should have less and less of those challenges. But the current experience that we have within the constituency, we do not see a plan that is being executed. We do not see a vision as to where we are going. We look at the unemployment within our constituency. It's very difficult for me to believe that we have 7% unemployment. When you look at the number of young persons, the number of women, especially between the ages of 30 to 50, who have low skills, low qualifications, those persons are highly unemployed. And there is no training, there's no program, there's nothing for them. Only when the bushing program makes itself available, then they may have an opportunity to earn a few dollars. And those are persons who find themselves in a vulnerable state within our society. So, if we can address the issue of representation, then we may find that with a solid plan, with a commitment to execute, with focus on inclusion of our people, that we may have solutions that lead to alleviating some of these issues, and we can then say, yes, we are progressing as a community.
Now, how does your varied, of course, experience translate into great representation for the constituency?
Well, I have a long background.
Give me the short version.
one that comes from sports and community to one that focuses on education and academia, to one that has given me experience in leadership at managerial level throughout several companies. I was a general manager at the Grenada National Stadium for some time. One of the best experiences I had was as the marketing and communications manager at Flow Grenada for a number of years, and that experience have really taught me to how to lead, how to be part of a team with other leaders, but more so to be goal-driven and performance-oriented. And I think that is what we need in St. Patrick West. At the moment, we need leadership within our constituency that is goal-oriented and performance-driven. Too often we hear a lot of talk and a lot of vision and a lot of, ideas coming around, but at the end of the day, there is no plan. There is no accountability. There is no reporting. There is no follow-up. And as of course, if the consequence of that quite often is there is no result. And I think that is the change that our people are desiring. Yeah. That is the type of change and the type of leadership that I would like to bring in. I think my background, my history supports that very well.
All right, great. We drew for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we continue the conversation. Stay with us, folks. It's To The Point. Classic Radio GBN TV. We will be right back after the break. Don't touch your dial.
Looking to shop on...
The
countdown is on for the most exciting relay showdown in the nation. The IMA National Relay Meet, headed for Saturday, February 21st, 2026, 3 p.m. at the Jelani James Athletic Stadium. Come witness speed, relentless competition, and heart-pounding relays that will keep you at the edge of your seats from start to finish. The island's fastest teams will battle for glory, but who will rise to the top and claim the prizes? You have to be there to see live. Admission finish line $50, main stand $30, secondary stand $20, and bleachers $15. Children 12 and under pay $15 for main and secondary stands and bleachers. Get your tickets. Feel the speed. The IMA National Relay Meet 2026, the ultimate relay experience.
Camahorn Boat, a powerful multimedia production, presented at Carafesta 15, written and directed by Chris DeRiggs. One big performance only at the Grenada Trade Center on Saturday, 7th March at 7 p.m. The Camahorn Boat is the ship of state, Grenada, sailing to its destiny. The Camahorn Boat is a call for unity, an exciting story about patriotism, played out by Grenada's best acting talents, featuring Samuel Ogilvie, Robert White, Debbie Gilchrist, Bianchi Toussaint, Dillian Walters, and others. Come out and join us in celebrating our Grenadianness on Saturday, 7th March, 7 p.m. at the Grenada Trade Center. Admission almost free. Advance tickets are $50, $65 at the door. Your ticket outlets: Giddens Pharmacy Grand Anse, Art and Soul Bookstore, Spiceline Mall, Mitchell's Pharmacy Grand Anse, 3B's Shoe Store, downtown St. George, and other places. Bring out the entire family and enjoy a wonderful evening of Grenadian theater on 7th March at Grenada Trade Center, 7 p.m.
My name is Dr. Abigail Noel, and I am the head of department at the Accident and Emergency Department. One thing I love about Mount Sinai is their spirit of collaboration. They came in with ideas that have transformed our department in real time. The implementation of ID bands for every patient that comes through the emergency department. That has decreased patient errors. They have implemented defibrillators on every ward. Thus far, 128 staff members have been trained in defibrillator use. The huddle system is basically small meeting with all team members. It improves communication between staff members as well as with patients. This transformation means everything to the emergency department and by extension the health system of Grenada.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Once again, it's To The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. And with me this morning, as I mentioned, we now have the candidate for St. Patrick West, Mr. Jelani Glean, this morning representing the opposition here on the program To The Point. Let's continue with our conversation this morning. Mr. Glean, welcome back.
Thank you.
Is there an NMP achievement that you're most proud of?
That's a good question. Several come to mind, actually, but I would say if we're in the present, I would say the present transition that we're experiencing as a party. Mm-hmm. I think I'm very proud of that. Historically, when there is shifts in leadership in parties across our region, especially when you have strong leadership expanding, over decades, you find that there is a lull and there is a slowing down, and it takes a while to build momentum and to build, trust and confidence back in the party. And I would say that this current transition that our party has gone through recently has been nothing short of amazing. The people are with us. They've shown us support as we go through. Our supporters have stood firm with us. And now we have a new leadership in place. Someone who is a stateswoman, I would say elder stateswoman in her own right, that has been there, over 20 years experience in leadership as a minister, various ministries, has been a parliamentarian, knows both the side of winning and losing, understands the consequence of poor leadership, understands the pain of having to sit on the byline when you're not in government and look at, when things are not going the way they ought to go, and that you can do a better job. So we now have that type of leadership in place. We have the inclusion of a number of young aspiring persons, new energy, new ideas, new vision, all very well qualified, all successful within their own rights, in their own lives. We have persons like, Dr. Adrian Joseph, Nolan Thompson, Christopher Diali, and a number of other persons who are Troy Noel, who have recently been selected as a candidate himself. So we have a number of persons who are now showing up and stepping forward to say, hey, I am willing to take on this challenge, and I think the new National Party is the right party for me, and I believe within this party I can deliver for my constituency.
There are two major political parties in Grenada. Of course, there's a third, but there's always that two major parties that stands out for the voting population in Grenada. What are the difference do you see between the two parties?
To be fair, I think when I think of the new National Party, I think of a party that has, for a number of years, been in government and have delivered for the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. There's been a number of projects. We look in infrastructure, we look at investment in tourism, we look at investment in agriculture and fisheries, we look at investment in sports, we look at investment in youth. And we recognize that this government have stand behind its vision. We have delivered for our people. And I don't think there is any other party that compares when it comes to delivery in government as the new National Party. We've seen other parties in government. Persons have had stints. Others are mounting up to about almost 15 years now. And when you compare what has been delivered for the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique versus what the new National Party has delivered, I don't believe there is any comparison. So the difference to me is resounding. We see a party that is dependable, that is reliant, that delivers, that has done transformational projects. When we talk in real tangible transformation, electricity, water, road network, telecommunications, stadia, investment in our healthcare, our hospital. There's across almost every industry we can point to, we can see delivery in every aspect from the new National Party. We in a era right now where the current ruling party has been in government for, June will make 4 years out of a 5-year stint, 5-year opportunity, and we've seen not one new capital project. That can't be delivery. That can't be something that could be compared, in my view, in any way to the new National Party. Okay.
No, you're a registered farmer. And when you talk to other farmers, what is that number one thing that they say is missing from the current, government in terms of support, or in terms of government support?
Well, it depends on what type of farmer you are. So we must understand that we have different types of farmers. We have some farmers that are more invested in our traditional crops, the cocoa, nutmeg, banana type of thing. And for them, I think the greater issue has been the price that they receive for their product. When I was a young boy, talking below 10 years old, going to the land with my grandfather or my dad, picking up nutmegs and so forth. Nutmeg was $3 a pound. My grandfather has passed away at the age of 92, 25 years ago. And the price of nutmeg today still
$3.
$3 a pound. Right, so it means that we haven't grown the industry, we haven't added value to our industry to make that a little bit more competitive, so our farmers can reap the benefit of that type of labor. And that's not even considering the shocks we've had in terms of hurricanes and so forth within that same said industry. The nutmeg cocoa farmers can't even remember the last time they received a bonus, which has been an annual thing for a long period of time. We want to see things return to those days. We want to see better prices for their product. In terms of the short-term farmers, short crop farmers, I think market seems to be the challenge for them. For some of them, MNIB had been entity whereby a market was provided for them. They would take their goods on a monthly basis, whatever it is they have produced. It's been over 2 years since the Marketing and National Importing Board has been closed down, and we've been promised a new entity that is going to replace it and provide market for the farmers, and to this day we still see nothing. So for the short-term farmers, I think that's one area that they're looking at, where I'm willing to produce. I have the land, I'm working hard, but when I produce, where is that market going to be? And I think the final thing that may exist across the board is that of perennial larceny. Our farmers still seem to suffer a bit from that. We want to see investment in improvement in technologies to monitor farms. We also want to see harsher penalties for persons who continue to practice perennial larceny. Persons, you'll be in charge $200 for thieving some coconut. You pay that, you come back in next week, you might thief a goat. That type of attitude we want to cease and desist, and we think that maybe harsher penalties, stiffer penalties for persons who transgress the law in terms of perennial larceny. That would help our farmers, in some measure, give them some confidence that hey, my hard work, my labor wouldn't be, whether it be another farmer being careless with the animals, releasing it and destroying your crops, or somebody just coming and maybe destroying what you've planted. We've seen that in the past. I think that's the main areas of concern for us.
You refer to yourself, or you call yourself, voice of the voiceless. I hear you speak of that numerous times, or speaking specifically about that. Mm-hmm. Now, specifically, which group in St. Patrick's West do you feel are currently unseen by the current administration?
Well, at this point in time, I think St. Patrick's West as a group, maybe even the wider St. Patrick, both East and West, we feel unseen. When we look at investment into St. Patrick by this ruling party, we cannot see anything that is creating opportunities for our people. There are no, as I said, capital projects. No employment is being created. We still see our persons are educated and qualified, are exported to St. George's for job opportunities. So we suffer from brain drain significantly within the constituency. We don't see employment opportunities for the younger ones who remain, those who have less skill, less qualification. So therefore, commercial activity is low within the constituency. You look at the tongue of Sotez, there are a number of abandoned buildings. There are a number of buildings, there is no business operating. Businesses have closed. We see, matter of fact, just last week, Wednesday, I had a business owner complain to me that the Wednesday gone was his lowest day of revenue collection in 15 years of operating his business in Sotez. Just collecting over $100 after operating from 7 o'clock in the morning to around 9 o'clock at night. That's a lot of time invested. He has workers working with him as well to pay. So I think as a constituency, we feel like we are unseen. We feel like our voice does not matter. You ask everybody, anyone you come across St. Patrick, and the first thing they will tell you is, we have seen no development in St. Patrick, and we want to see some more development in St. Patrick, but development that creates opportunities, that addresses the issues that we face. Healthcare, unemployment, agriculture, fishing. We've seen education. We've seen now our elderly, care for our elderly and so forth, support for our elderly, even our preschoolers. And last but not least, there is a surging group that I believe that we need to start paying attention to, and that is our special needs students, our special needs kids. A lot of the times, a lot of the mothers are single mothers. They're forced to stay at home to care for the kids because they require, full attention, a lot of attention and time, and supervision. And so the mothers themselves now lack opportunities. They can't be employed because they're providing full-time care, and so we see some issues arriving there, and I think these mothers require some more support. The kids themselves require more support, especially when they've gone beyond the school age for the special needs school. Right, they now need some more support because you have 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds. How do we get them involved in society? What can they do? How can we keep them, engaged and so forth? I think that's been part of the challenge. So there's another area that we need to pay attention to.
You spoke about limited investment within St. Patrick's, both east and west. Mm-hmm. Folks may challenge you by saying, yes, the new National Party, they were in government for a wee bit. Mm-hmm. Why haven't they brought investment to St. Patrick's? Mm-hmm. You spoke about things, the development. You even spoke about businesses not getting the support. What is really needed in St. Patrick? What do you think is needed? If that opportunity comes to you, sir, mm-hmm. where you awarded the opportunity to become MP mm-hmm. of St. Patrick's your particular St. Patrick's West, mm-hmm. What would be priority number one for you?
Okay, so to start where you began, we now have the Rivera Hotel project, which is something that's coming. That was brought in by the New National Party. So the New National Party has done its part. The bus terminus, New National Party. We've seen investment in our schools, McDonald College, brand new wing, doing technical support and so forth. We have the TAMCC branch at Sotes, giving some support there. So there have been some areas of investment in St. Patrick from the New National Party. In terms of the current situation, I would say the first thing we need to change is the representation. That to me is clear. That's the first step. We need to change the representation and have a representation that shares a vision, has a plan, and is inclusive of our people, because even the greatest plan will affect somebody adversely. And my vision is one of no one left behind. We cannot progress forward with only those willing to step forward and leave those who have challenges in stepping forward behind. Because guess what? When you achieve what you need to achieve, these persons now become challenges and obstacles. They become, another issue that you have to deal with because you're now creating separation. That's not the St. Patrick we're trying to build. We're trying to build a St. Patrick for all, everybody, including no one left behind. If you ask me, per se, I think the number one thing that we need in St. Patrick West is something that focuses on creating employment within St. Patrick. If the employment is created in St. Patrick, the disposable income would grow because the money spent on transportation and food and so on becomes less. There is more time for social activities and so forth, supporting kids with homework and that type of thing because you get home a lot earlier. You could spend more time with your kids. You could spend time exercising and creating a healthier lifestyle for yourself. Our nation's health is its wealth. I think creating that opportunity within St. Patrick is the key to unlocking the potential of St. Patrick. All the other things are wrong.
I'm cutting on you, but with the world economy as it stands right now, with Grenada economy as it stands right now, what will that be to bring that level of employment to St. Patrick's? What would that be? I'm not telling you to spill all your plans for, I mean, you may want to keep that to yourself. But what could that really be? What could it really be? What is that tangible investment that could come around that get the folks up and moving? You understand?
I think our investment needs to focus around bringing people to St. Patrick. Mm-hmm. Like we've already established, St. Patrick in its current state, the people who are the top earners within the constituency work and operate outside of the constituency. They purchase their groceries outside the constituency. They spend their bills outside the constituency. Their monies are not being spent within and creating commerce within the constituency, right? Or at least if it is, it's a very small portion of it.
Okay.
Right? The people that are left to function are the ones who are the low earners. Right, persons who hustle, who do little shopping, do little, stuff. This the fisherman, the farmer, the vendors, that type of thing. What we need is an avenue that is going to bring people into St. Patrick. So I'll give you an example. 2 weekends ago, we had something for its first time called the Telesford Festival.
Yeah.
And that was a wonderful experience. A number of persons coming to St. Patrick, all of the vendors having the opportunity to make some money, several bars across the lower tongue. Now we would see that becomes an annual event.
Yeah.
Next year, we want the rest of Grenada to join us. And then we want it to become a tourist attraction that around this time of year, if I come to Grenada, this is happening, that's where I need to be. So investments like that is going to bring persons from outside of the parish. We are the historical parish. Not one of our historical sites is commercialized. It's not monetized. Carib slave pen, Carib stone, welcome stone, nothing. Yes, and we have persons who are willing to invest and be trained and so forth to operate these places. Have it, but some investment is required to upgrade the facilities to make it attractive, to become part of our tourism package, for example. So we need that type of investment that is going to attract and bring in. We have over 1 million. We boast of over 1 million tourists visiting our shores, especially from the cruise ships. How many of them come to St. Patrick, and how much money is left in St. Patrick, the historical parish? How much money is left there so that persons can benefit? We have beaches, we have lakes, we have ponds, we have rivers, we have mountains, we have trails. We have absolutely everything that we need in terms of resources that can be developed to attract persons to come to St. Patrick.
All right. We drew for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we continue the conversation. Stay with us, folks. It's To The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. We'll be right back. Don't touch it down.
Got something to share?
Call us at 440-1252.
WhatsApp 405-3052 or 407-8458.
Or email gbnnews@gbn.gd.
GBN News, first, accurate, voted #1.
Hey everyone, here is an invitation to join me this and every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. on GBN Television 711 K105 FM, our Facebook page and YouTube channel for Kaiso Talk. Meet the Kaisonians, hear their stories, feel the vibes. Kaiso Talk, Wednesdays 8:30 p.m. Compliments for Grenville Credit Union.
welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, once again. It's To The Point, Classic Radio. Mr. Glean, welcome back once again. We into the final segment of the program this morning. But I still have a few questions I want to ask you. No, your opponent is a senior statesman within St. Patrick's. How do you intend to compete with of course, the level of experience, and why should they choose you over the sitting minister, if I could answer that particularly?
It's a fair question. But I will start off by saying senior statesman. When I think of senior statesmen, I think of people with more than 20 years experience in governance. So I think of Dr. the Honorable Keith Mitchell. I think of Mr. Gregory Bowen. I think of Anthony Boson, and persons of the like. That's when I give you the title of senior. Yeah. With all due respect to our current representative, he's a personal friend of mine, and I respect him to the utmost. I think he's one that is doing his best to represent to the best of his ability. However, as I've stated categorically through this interview, I believe that the number one thing we need to change in St. Patrick is the representation. We need better representation. We need representation that identifies with the issues, the challenges of our constituency and its people. And for me, it's not a choice between myself and the current representative. It's a choice as to who would be best to replace the current representative. And I'm offered myself. I believe my experiences, my background, my history as a community person, my educational background, my employment history has provided me with the experience and the technical know-how, how to manage and work with others, how to lead, but also how to include persons to get results. And like I said, I believe that St. Patrick will only move forward when we have representation that is goal-oriented and people-focused. The representation that is performance-driven. I think that is the type of leadership and the type of representation that is going to move the needle for our constituency, for our people, for our children, for our future. And I believe that I have the capability to lead such an endeavor, and I am hoping that persons would identify with that type of leadership and would fall in and support me as we go forward and together work with our people to deliver and build on what has been laid before us already. Because we inheriting something that everybody has contributed to in one way or the other. Yes. But at the end of the day, we need a representation that delivers enough movement that we can say, yes, we were at point A, now we're at point C, but we're trying to get to point Z. But we are moving too slow, and with all due respect, St. Patrick is getting left behind. Not just St. Patrick's West, but St. Patrick as a whole. We're getting left behind, and we need to start addressing this issue now. It should have been addressed maybe some while now, but we need to start addressing it now, because we're starting to see, when you look at St. George, for example, as a parish, St. George has a population of about 55,000 people. That's half the population. So where do you think half the resources are going to be invested?
I agree.
That is only natural. Then you have Big Parish St. Andrew, which is, it's called Big Parish for a reason. Another set of investment. So what is going to be left for us? Everything cannot be left up to the government. I would agree with this. Initiatives and so forth can come from the people. Investment can come from the people. However, leadership is what is going to guide that. Leadership is what is going to provide a pathway. Leadership is what is going to provide that additional support that is needed to help things get done. And I think that is what we have not been seeing in St. Patrick West, St. Patrick as a whole. Leadership that gets things done.
Of course, as a candidate, what is that level of feedback you're receiving from coming from the Caretaker stage to know what is that level of feedback you've been receiving, especially from constituents?
Well, I get a lot of encouragement. I could tell you that, and a lot of persons tell me, keep going, don't give up, stick at it, be consistent. And I think that's what it is for me, consistency. I wish I was a triplet so I could spread myself far and wide. Our constituency, it takes a while to get around. Imagine it takes you an hour they're about to drive from Sotez to St. George. Try driving around St. Patrick and see how long it takes you. Right? It takes you just about the same hour to get into, the little areas, even maybe just a little more than an hour.
Yes.
Right? So it's we spread wide and far, but I made a promise to get to every household. So far I've covered, quite a large portion of that, and I continue to work daily. Sometimes you visit an area, you may not meet everybody based on work schedule, or they have something to do, whatever the case may be. But I will be passing back in a lot of the communities, and I've made a concerted effort to be present a lot more in almost every PD within our constituency this year, trying to engage and meet with as much people as possible, because the more people you meet, the better you understand what the needs are. And like I said, some needs are personal, some needs are community, some needs is in a neighborhood, some needs are safety and that kind of thing. So, the more we engage on that type of level, is the better I'm in a position to understand what those needs are and what are some of the ideas, suggestions of how these things can actually operate. The benefit of being in government is not that you have a technical team that you could put to this and say, hey, how feasible is this? Can we get this done? And then do we have the resources to make it happen?
What do you foresee as some of the challenges as caretaker now for you in the constituency? What do you foresee as some of the challenges?